Right, so look at the boiler. He's got live and neutral, not very well, but in the live and neutral out, which is the power to an external control, and then he's linked the neutral into the switch live for hot water, so that's wrong. On the nest itself, he's took that live and neutral into 2 and 3. So that's why it's not working. So if I look at the instruction manual here, happy Sunday, thanks for tuning in to my latest video, The Life of a Jobbing Plumber. Sponsored by Velocity Pro Gear, Toolmate, Power Tool, PB Bag. Sponsored by Velocity Pro Gear, Tool Bags and Power Toolmate. Links to both those companies in the description. So it's the last week in January, next week, and I thought it was going to be a nice steady start into the year. And the way like Christmas fell on a Saturday, New Year was on a Saturday, I had that week in between where I didn't book any work in. I thought I'll clean my van out, I'll do this, I'll do that. I didn't do any of it. So the back of my van is still a shithole from before Christmas when I was in a mad rush, because I carried on being in a mad rush for the whole of January. So hopefully this week I'm doing a power flush on Tuesday with Craig. I've got some jobbing bits to do on Monday. Wednesday, apart from a meeting with Nipex, I've got the whole day left blank to clean the back of my van out. But as you know, that's going to change because jobs will come in and I won't have Wednesday free, and the back of my van will still be a shithole on next Sunday's video. So I could do it today, but I'm editing my YouTube video. It's now 20 past 2. I'm filming the bit in the van. I have to then go in the house and edit that into the video and finish off and then upload, and then it's dark and the day's gone. So yeah, just struggling for time at the minute. So the first job I'm going to show you, a guy, and he literally lives over the other side of the park, had an electrician round to fit a nest to his Worcester Bosch 8000. It's a new boiler, combi boiler, and the electrician fitted the nest. But the electrician couldn't do it, and the electrician blew the fast blow fuse in the boiler. Now when I get jobs come through, if I'm busy, I judge whether I want them on whether I think they're interesting, if I want the job, or if I think it's going to be a good job for YouTube. So of course I wanted this job, thought it's going to be great for YouTube. And then I was thinking, like, you know, you see these YouTube videos where it's like, what do they call it, clickbait. So the title is something shocking, and then the actual video is not that bad. And I thought this would be the ideal video to put electrician blows fuse in boiler, or electrician can't wire a boiler in, and everyone would be like, oh, what's this? PB hates electricians and all that. Well, I don't hate electricians, I quite like electricians, and if I wasn't a plumber, I might be a electrician myself. So what I think is a nicer outcome of this job is, I've had a look at what the electrician's done. Fair play, he said to the guy he wasn't confident in doing heating controls, and that's fair enough. He might be brilliant at every other aspect of his job, he just doesn't like or doesn't get on with heating controls. I quite like them, I find it fun almost. So rather than make it into, oh, the electrician did this, the electrician did that, I said to the guy, look, tell him, give him my number, and if he's ever on a job where he's struggling to wire up a wire plan, S-plan, fit a nest thermostat to a combi, anything like that, if he just wants to ring me, and I'll, you know, he can pick my brains and I'll try and talk him through it, kind of thing. I think that's a much nicer outcome than, you know, the alternative, which is slating electricians that can't work on heating controls, because my electrical knowledge is very, very basic, in the fact that I will be happy or confident, even though I probably shouldn't wire my own heating systems. I wouldn't attempt anything else electrical, I'd already leave that to electricians. So the first bit of this first job you'll see is the bit that the guy filmed for me and sent me via a text message. It looks like it's been filmed on a potato, but if you bear with that, it's about 30 seconds long, and then you'll see the job. And then I've got a system boiler install Marcus, and maybe I'll slap another little job in there at the end, try and get me up to the half hour. Hope you enjoy it. New subscribers, welcome. If you're watching this and you don't subscribe, please hit the subscribe button, and apparently there's a bell as well so you get notifications, because that all helps me out. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
Hi Peter, yeah, my name is Brett. I'll give you a quick update. The electrician fitted the thermostat and the heat link, but I think was unqualified to do this and has actually blown the fuse for this new boiler. And that's where we are really. So everything's kind of installed, but it needs rewiring.
Right. So you say you were away, an electrician came and fitted the nest?
No, he came here today. So he tried to fit it about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he didn't actually connect it to the boiler because he was scared about opening up the boiler.
Right, okay.
So we connected the heat link, but obviously the thermostat wasn't working, but that's all he knew.
Right, okay.
And I didn't know anymore.
Right.
So I convinced him to come back to connect it to these two.
Yeah.
And I don't think he had a real issue with whether it was earthed or not.
Okay. And you say it's blown, you think it's blown the fuse in the boiler?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
There's the...
Right, so look at the boiler. He's got live and neutral, not very well, but in the live and neutral out, which is the power to an external control. And then he's linked the neutral into the switch live for hot water. So that's wrong. And then on the actual, on the nest itself, he's took that live and neutral into 2 and 3. So that's why it's not working. So if I look at the instruction manual here, so that's where he's took his 2 and 3 here, which is his, hang on, yeah, this one. He's took those into there, and then central heating switch live, which is that one, LR. There's nothing in, and he's put it into the hot water. So if we look on here, the LR, which is the switch live from the external controls to connect the LR terminal, and then this one is for preheat function, hot water time controller. So I don't know why he's done that. So what I'm going to do is this one. So inside my heat link, I'm going to put a live into 2, and then I have one wire coming out of 3, just going into LR with the radiator. Don't need any of this. Also blown the fast blow fuse in the boiler. Right, so just start taking these out. I'm just going to tidy these up as well. So that's my power. Took that out. I'm just going to strip that back and do that properly. Okay, so neutral's going to neutral, live's going to live, and I've got a link live in with number 2. Now what I've got is these bootlace ferrules, and this will take 2 cables in one, and these do actually fit inside the nest because these are quite small. So I'm going to crimp that together. I'll do that next. So there's the 2 in 1. I'll just get the tool on it if I can. With one hand. Just then join together now. So that's going in there like that. Okay. Okay, so that's that done. And then I just need to do the wire that goes to the nest on the wall, which I've trimmed, put my bootlaces on, so just got to connect that in now. Okay, so that's pretty much done now. Right, so that's that. There's going to be some boxing built around here, and that's going to be fitted on the front. So for now I'm just leaving it like it was. The new fast blow fuse in the boiler. Let's put the power on. Let's see what happens. Good start. Right, if you turn the heating up on the Nest. Okay. Lovely. So this job I came out to before Christmas. The PRV was leaking. I'll show you now. Basically, while I was talking to the chap, telling him what it could be, what it might be, etc, etc, I tied a plastic sandwich bag around the PRV outlet and it actually caught some water in while I was talking to him. So I know it definitely needs this, but what I said to him was I need to check the pressure in the vessel, because that might be why that is leaking. But he'd had British Gas out to work on the boiler and I didn't know if they just used this to drain it. So this, I think Plumb Centre quoted me about 320 quid plus VAT. They brought it down a little bit, but it's very expensive. So I'm hoping, because of the price of it, and also I ain't really got time, that it doesn't need the expansion vessel, it just needs that. Yeah, so the original call out to this was he was losing pressure, didn't know where it was from. He had a British Gas contract. They'd been out to service it recently, but they couldn't come back before Christmas. So he said, look, I need someone out. He's losing pressure every day. And they said, look, get your own plumber, send us the invoice and we'll pay it. Now, that expansion vessel is held in by that screw, and that screw is behind that main burner, behind the fan there. I don't know how you're meant to get in to get that out. If I had to change that vessel, I don't know, I just don't know why there's a screw there. So I'm so happy that when I put my pump on, I pumped it up to 1 bar. It was flat, but I pumped it up to 1 bar and it stayed at 1 bar. I had a cup of tea, probably 10-15 minutes, and it's still at 1 bar now. So luckily I didn't have to swap it, but that would have been, yeah, I was meant to be at this job I think about 1 o'clock, and it's 3:30ish now, so I was really late anyway, so I'm glad I didn't have to do it. So just the PRV. So the PRV, while I was chatting to the guy on my first visit, I said, look, let's just put a bag on, I'll leave it for a few days and I'll come back, because I was busy that day as well. And it just so happened while I was chatting to him, we got some water in the bag, so proved already that it needed a new PRV. So with the vessel holding charge, new PRV on, this boiler should be good as gold. And I did this job first week back after Christmas, and it's now, what we're on, the last week in January, and he says it's been absolutely good as gold since then, so it's definitely cured the problem. But yeah, I don't know why that screw's there. Any glowworm guys watching this, is there an easy way to get that expansion vessel out the back of this boiler? Because to me it didn't look like there was. So at the start of this job, you'll hear me say that I have started taking cold showers in the morning. And at the time of recording the job you're about to see, I was only on my second day. And I'm not an expert on it. It's something I've researched. I know what the benefits are, and I've wanted to do it. Last year I tried it, but I just couldn't hack it. But this year, new mindset, new me, all that kind of stuff. And I decided I'm going to do it. And the first day, I got my head under the water first, and I did about 10 seconds. Couldn't breathe. I was like, it was painful. Jumped out for about 10 seconds. And then what happens is, the next time, before you go in, you try and talk yourself out of it. So you're like, oh, it's not for me, or I've got to be at work early today, or it's cold morning, why am I doing it? But I forced myself to do it, and the second day I got 30 seconds. We're now exactly a week later, and I can do 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And my breathing's completely changed. Like, I'm breathing calm now, and it's literally ice cold water, so fully cold. Get in as long as you can, get out, no hot shower afterwards, none of that. And yeah, it's like a mental battle to actually go in, but once you've done it and you get out, I feel amazing. Sometimes I'm like grinning ear to ear, almost celebrating the fact that I've done it. I think it's made me feel better. recovery's been better from the gym, my skin feels better, my mood's better, and yeah, just that little challenge at the start of the day seems to be doing me the world of good. So I'd love to know if you already do it, or if you're an expert on it, because the next step I want to do is get a tub in the garden. I've been looking at massive storage systems, because I think I'm going to fill them with water and getting that outside. But as I say, I'm only on my 7th day. I'm not an expert, but I'm enjoying it. I feel great, so it's something I want to do. So if you've got any tips for me, if you do it, if you know where I can get a massive tub big enough to fit a 6'2", 100-kilogram guy in. I don't want like a little header tank I've took off a job, but that's what I'm doing. And while you're on here, if you're not watching the Trade Legends podcasts, we are doing a wolf run in April, which is, I think it's near Warwick, somewhere off the M1. I think you get off at Lutterworth. I can't think where it is exactly, but we're doing a wolf run. So if you want to be part of that, if you want to join our team and do the wolf run with the Trade Legends team, go on the Trade Legends Instagram page or the Trade Legends YouTube page and find the details, because we could be doing a wolf run together in April. In sunny Nottingham, it's a nice chilly Monday morning. It is the 17th of January, and I decided yesterday, Sunday, I was going to have a cold shower every morning for 63 days. And the reason behind that is I heard if you do something every day for 63 days, your body becomes used to it, it becomes a habit. Because let me tell you, taking a cold shower is not easy. So the first day yesterday, I managed about 10 seconds. This morning I managed 30 seconds. I'm going to try and build up to a minute cold shower. So I don't know why I've told you that, but yeah. So, welcome Marcus. We are taking this boiler out. I've got a combi that's not being used as a combi. That's the only hot outlet, that tap there. And that's the only cold from it. And it does 3 radiators, did you say?
Sorry, 3.
Just 3 radiators?
Yeah.
So because they don't need hot water, we're putting, well, do you want to explain it? Where's he gone? Here he is. He's just sorting us out some power so we can get the kettle on. So the boiler's there. Chop the flats, that can come off the wall. Tightness test done, so we know we're tight on the gas. Obviously the gas meter in the boiler. You've not got a very big pipe run there. Power, we've got a condense pump. Condense goes out there into a drain. Well, it doesn't even go into a drain, I'll show you that in a sec. Lovely. Right, just so we've got, that's the only hot outlet.
Yeah. So
And then flow and return do 3 rads.
3 rads.
So we're getting rid of this combi. And we're
It just
putting,
seems complete waste really having a combi here.
so we're gonna put a system boiler in,
Yeah.
which is just gonna do those 3 rads basically.
Yeah. So we're going to cut the cold, that's cold coming down from upstairs.
Yeah.
Put the filling loop here. Connect that in. Because obviously the other thing at the minute is all the pipe work, because that's going to harbour Legionella, because it can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Which obviously this sort of place isn't the best either.
And it's an absolutely massive building, but they're on storage heaters. So there's the. Let's if you're an electrician, what the hell is going on here? It's just like, obviously you got your main power coming in here, and then it goes, where does it go? Into that, down into this, out of this, through there, into that. Where does that go? Up into these, like, surely that could have been done a better way. Or has that been like done by loads of different people at different times? They've just added things on, or I just don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, but yeah, that's they've got storage heaters, and this just does 3 radiators. So that's coming out. New boiler going in. We've got de-aeration, dirt separation to go in, and we've got a condense pump. And the
The coated one. No, just as long as it's coated for a combi, for a condensing.
Lovely. E-Protect Plus.
Yeah, you know
612.
that.
So that condense pump, little tube comes out there, just drops into that, and even though they've got a drain there, gully, it's just terminating onto the gravel. So we're going to sort that out. Flue out. So I took the condense pump out. Everything was just painted in. That's gone. So we turned the cold water off. Basically, these taps, they've never been used. They don't need them. So all we're going to do now is cut this here for our filling loop, and then we can use that to fill the kettle while we're working today. So I've got the water back on, and there's this power for the boiler. Obviously the condense pump will power from in the new boiler. It'd have its own separate spur, we don't need to use that though. What else? That's about it.
Yeah,
just gonna get
the oven's already in, that goes to outside. So.
PLV's just lagged, and again that's painted. Gas is simple enough. So get that chopped in, get the water back on, have a cup of tea. Right, so we've got the boiler out. Check that flue seal. Oh, it's rock hard, pointing inwards. That's never been on right. So yeah, boiler's off the wall. We've cut the hot and cold out. I guess we'll just cut these low level, will we?
Yeah, I was just thinking of just cutting. I've got to swap the drain offs anyway, so I'll probably cut it back here and just renew.
Yeah, and we've got the filters to go on, obviously.
Yeah.
So we can get the new boiler hung. It's not going to take us very long, this job. So I've cut that level with this one that I'm about to sweat off, and then we're just going to adapt on to these two pipes. So right, so cut the flow and return level with each other, 2 drain cocks going there, just soldered that T on, and that is our return using the laser level, 1 for the to get the template on the wall, and 2 for our pipe centers. So that's my first one. I'm going to do the flow now. Obviously we've got where are they? Oh, here. So we've got a dirt separator going on there, and then the air separator, which I'll try and get so they look level there, and then you get these pre-made bends for the valent, so that'll be in to line up with that. So that's the return on, that's done, lined up, ready for the boiler. All that needs to go on there would be the valve, and then I'm just offered in this. This is the flow. Now on the flow, we obviously got to get this on. This is the air separator, and level-ish with that. But also I've got to put a T in, a soldered T in somewhere for our filling loop to connect. Yeah, the clips have lined up. Top one's level. The bottom one couldn't be because of the way the bend is. Drain cocks. Marcus is just drilling a new hole through 1.25" for our condense pump. Yeah, so I'll work out where my T is, work out where my filter height's going to be, and I'll get that soldered. Still need to solder that. Yeah. Right, so that's the pipe done. They're set and level. Now you may notice that there's no template on the wall anymore. That's because I caught it with a blowtorch when I wasn't concentrating. That's set on fire. But I did manage to solder right next to that clip without burning the clip. So I don't know how I managed that. So just chuck the boiler on the wall, and you can see there our pipe centers line up with these valves. We've just got to put the unions on, and then we're going to work the flue, measure the flue length, get the flue done. That's condense ready for the condense pump to run into. when we lifted the boiler on, it was making a rattling noise. It was coming from this. So we think they've changed the bracket design. They've definitely changed the exhaust, because that used to come across. Let's just open up the top now, but yeah, what do you think to that?
Soon see, won't we?
Cutbacks? The
Yeah.
brackets were costing them too much.
Extra 3p on that bracket.
It's not a cheap boiler either. So this is a system boiler. If you've never seen the inside of a system boiler before, you can see we've got a lot of space, and that's because this boiler would also be used as a combi, and there would be a plate heat exchanger in this bit here. Your hot outlet would come here and go through there. Your cold inlet would come through here. So they just divert valve would drop in there. So there's just bits on a combi they take off for a system boiler. So there's our boiler connections, and they are going to go like that. But you can see I've got to cut this pipe down, and that's because we've used standoff clips. It's got a little spacer there because we're in a unheated, I don't know, it's just like a room underneath the house, but it's unheated, so we're going to put some lagging on these pipes so the spacers allow the pipes off the wall so we can get the lagging in, and then that's why I've got to cut them down. But that's what I'm going to do now, just cut them, connect them on, and then the gas, I think what I'm going to do on that is probably cut it back here and then keep it close to the wall, because at the minute it's coming off the wall quite a bit, and see if I've got enough room to go behind, up and then in. So we've got a drip. I thought it was one of my compressions, but it's not. It's actually coming through the casing. See, that's wet there on my finger. Don't know if you can see this. Let me put the flash on. Oh yeah, you just saw a bit. It's leaking from here where the expansion vessel is plugged in, and then running down the side of the casing. So I have to drain it to sort that out. So the gas, it worked out that the angle that was coming off the wall at was pretty much perfect just to run in front. There's still room to work on that nut. So that's done. We're going to now fit the condense pump, connect the condense pipe, and then we'll do the PRV last, because that's just got to go into there. So you get obviously the pump, and then where's that flex from the boiler? That's the outlet flex, and you've got a flex to get.
And that's the flex.
So that is going to go from here into our pump. So another change of plan. Done the PRV first, and now we're just fitting the condense.
Nice and easy with these. Actually, that's that. And then it's got a little slot on the back. You just drop it on.
Nice.
That's it. We'll come straight up.
Straight up. Why is there a speed fit connection? So what goes into that?
The pipe goes straight into it.
Into a 15mm speed fit?
Yeah. So
It's got a little liner in it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And that goes in there.
I'm going to lag that as well.
Yeah. Over X40.
So the power supply from our condense pump has got this plug on it, and this one, and it goes in. You can see it says burner off, so that link comes out.
Stick that on to burner
Plugs in there.
So if it blocks up or pump packs up, it turns the boiler off, and then it goes on to X40, which is
X41. X41.
oh, somewhere close, isn't it?
Sure it's not X41?
It says X40. Oh, I thought it was X40. Let's say it might be the older boilers. Or is it one or the other? Oh yeah, it's one or the other.
What do you mean?
So you either use it.
Oh, okay. So we can take that out then.
You either burner off. So you either put it into burner off, or if it's on one of the modern, one of the older boilers, you put the plug into X40.
Okay, so
And don't bother with that.
we'll whip that bit out then. And then the permanent live to it, I guess, goes in with the...
Yeah, live, neutral and earth on the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just draining the boiler so we can see what's leaking on here. So I'll pop that clip. It's not an easiest place to get to. O-ring looks alright.
What's our O-ring? You just want a bit of grease?
I don't know whether it's pushed in or whether it's just pushed in a bit further. So let's try it. You got any tissue?
Yeah. Achoo.
Fucking why are they so awkward to get into? Oh, lucky. So let's fill that back up and try it. Right, I think that's that cured. So the plug is actually they're sort of connected together, so I can't disconnect it, so I'm just leaving it there. The other thing is this plug, if I took that off, this bit wouldn't go through the cable management system, so I've had to run it sort of underneath there. There's a little gap, and then the power to the live neutral and earth power supply to the boiler and the live neutral and earth to the pump both go into the main block there. So now if the condense pump blocks, freezes, whatever, it kills the power to the burner through that. Normally what you would do is on your switch live, let's say you're using the RT there, you'd just go in series, so you go into the condense pump, out of the condense pump into that. So it would have to go through a breaker through the condense pump, and if it froze, overflowed, whatever, it would break that feed to the RT. So that's that. And with the boiler before didn't have a time clock. The guy would just come and turn the power off in the summer because this only did the radiators. So we're fitting an integral one which will plug into the front there, but it's not here yet. I'm just waiting for that to be delivered.
Goes into there. It does come with their own clips that really clamps them on, but when you do it, it's literally touching the wall, so we'd never get any lagging on it. So I'm just going to have to use normal standoff clips.
So we're pretty much done. Lagging's done. Condense pumps connected. Marcus is just commissioning it, and we're waiting for the time clock, aren't we?
Yeah.
Even though you ordered the stuff,
December, beginning of December.
and they didn't have the clock in,
No.
and they fucked up. Now they've got to try and find us one. But other than that, it's done. It's got the link, 24 volt link wiring, so it's running. But yeah, we really need the clock.
Yeah. Just doing a kilowatt rating on an imperial meter.
What's the next job we're doing together? Do you know yet?
Hopefully a big radiator job in Nottingham. Well, full upgrade, underfloor heat, with some other bits as well.
Nice. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
So there's the flue's done. You can see we've changed the way the condense runs now into that gully. There is a cage coming for the flue that's coming with the program of. It's not here yet, but there will be a cage on that, obviously because of the height of it.
So here's just a little quick tip. These are always a nightmare to try and get the holes. I just poke 2 holes through on the centres, look. And then when you come to mark it on the wall, you've got your exact holes. Bang bang.
Clever.
Just a little tip there.
Just took a sample out of the filter in the bottom of the bottle that we've got.
So it's about 7.4.
7.4.
Between 7.4, 7.7. So
Bang on.
yeah, beautiful. So it's the last bit of the puzzle. Just sticking the clock in. The clock actually comes with prongs on the back, so that if it was the older boiler you can stick it in, but because this is the new boiler it already comes with the prongs there, so you literally pull them off, click it in, here's your timer clock fitted.